Hi students, today I am going to explain light from physics, very interesting chapter. So what is light? Light is a form of energy that helps us to see objects. We need light to see the world around us. So the things are made available by means of light only. So for an object to be visible, so light should be there. So the light from a source will fall on that object and it will bounce back on the surface and it will enter our eyes so that we can see the object. So what are the sources of light? From where the light comes? There are sources of light means objects that are capable of giving us light by themselves are called sources of light, or they are also called luminous objects. So they emit the light on their own are called luminous objects. So they have their own source of energy. Maybe they may be natural or artificial. For if we see natural, sun and stars are luminous objects. And LED bulb, a lighted candle, a torch light, all these are examples of artificial luminous objects. So from this we understand what are luminous objects that are capable of emitting their light on their own are called luminous objects. What is the opposite of this? Non-luminous objects which do not emit light of their own are called non-luminous objects. For example, a book cannot emit a light, or a stone or a log of wood. These are called non-luminous objects because they will not emit their light. But when a light falls on these objects, some of them get reflected in different directions. The light will get reflected and it will enter our eyes and we can see these objects. So you understand from this what is light, what are luminous objects, what are non-luminous objects. So most of the objects we see around us are non-luminous because they just reflect the light from the sun, from the artificial human luminous source. Even the moon, we think the moon is a luminous source actually. No, moon is not a luminous source because it is a non-luminous object. It will just receive the light from the sun and reflect it as a moonlight. So the moonlight will reach us the earth, enabling to see the moon. Even the planets are also non-luminous objects as they reflect the sunlight falling on them. So we see here some animals and microorganisms are capable of producing their own light, like a firefly, see here. So from their body by some chemical reactions. It is called bioluminescence. Bio means living. Luminescence means they can emit light. So the biological organisms which can emit light. Example is firefly, some type of fishes, jellyfish, squids, and even some bacteria will do this. Right. So next, how the propagation of light takes place. So what do you mean by propagation? Traveling. What is propagation? Travel. How the light travels? It is a form of energy. It travels from one source or it reflects from a non-luminous body. Light do not need any medium to travel. Light can travel even in the vacuum. What is vacuum? Where there is no air. So and the speed of light is 3 lakh kilometers per second. For 1 second, it will travel 3 lakh kilometers. That much fast it will travel in vacuum or in air. How much for the sun is 1500 lakh kilometers from the earth. So even at this great speed also, light takes a little more than 8 minutes to reach the earth from the sun. So from the sun, to reach to the earth, light takes more than 8 minutes. So light can pass or transmit to solids, liquids and even gases also. But it will not travel or pass into all the objects completely or in the same speed. Some objects will allow light to pass through them completely. Some will not allow them to them. So based on this ability, there are different type of materials they give. Transparent, translucent and opaque materials. So let's see first transparent materials. See here, materials that allow light to pass through them completely. When full light is passed into these materials, they are called transparent materials. Clear gas, we can see clearly backside. Yes, no, clear water, air and cellophane paper. These are all the examples of transparent materials. What are translucent materials? Some materials will pass the light to them, but they will not pass completely. They will pass only partially. Partially means only little. So materials that allow light to pass through them partially, very slightly, are called translucent materials, like ground glass, frosted glass, thin nylonic fiber, fabric and butter paper. These are all the examples of translucent materials. Then what are opaque objects? It will not allow any light to pass through them. So they are called opaque materials, like wood. If we keep the hand behind the wood, we cannot see the hand because it will not allow any of the light to pass through them, so we cannot see. Wood, cardboard, thick cloth, metal, leather, plastics, all are examples of opaque materials. So now we understood how the light propagates or travels. Then, so light, rays and beam of light. Let's see what is a ray. Ray means a very fine or narrow path of light. What is its route? Here we saw how it travels. So the route we are seeing here, a very narrow path of light, is called ray of light. So it is represented by like this, a line showing a arrow. This arrow shows its direction, how it is going. So a very fine or narrow path of light is called ray of light. It is represented by a line with an arrowhead showing the direction in which light is traveling. So like this, a collection of rays is called beam of light. So any source of light, whether it is small source or big source, will always give a beam of light. It will not give only a ray of light. It will give a beam of light, means it will give a collection of rays of light. So depending on the direction how it is traveling, again it is of three types: parallel beam of light, divergent beam of light, convergent beam of light. What is parallel beam of light? Light rays received from a very distant source like sun, very far. Light rays is received from a very far source. After traveling so much distance, it will travel in a parallel lines, a set of parallel rays. So it is a parallel beam of light. What is divergent? When a light is given from a very small source, like a candle, it will spread all to the room. When we lit a candle in a room, it will spread to all to the room. So the rays appears to spread in all the directions. So it is called divergent. Divergent means diverging or scattering. Light is scattering here. So such a beam of light is called convergent. And when we see a convergent, when light rays from a nearby large source, here from small source it diverges, scatters. Here from a large source it meets. It appears to meet or converge at a single point. It is called convergent beam of light. So like this, the depending on the direction, so we see the light beam is of three types. Then what is rectilinear propagation of light? When the light travels in straight line, as long as it is traveling in same medium. When it is traveling in the same medium, it will just go straight. So this property of going just straight is called rectilinear propagation of light. So if an opaque object is placed in the path of light, so the light is traveling straight. In this path we keep one object which is opaque. Opaque means which do not allow any light to pass through that. Then what happens? So if the light could travel in a curved path, so if the light is traveling in a curved path, again it will bend and go. But it will happen? No. So because you may have seen a streak of light coming in a dark room through some opening in a window or door. The path of the light appears to be in a straight path. So the light always travels in a straight path. It will not get curved according to the direction. So in the same way, light from torch also in the dark, we will see a beam of light coming out from the projector in a cinema hall. All these the light travels in a straight line. So let us perform one activity to see how the light travels in a straight line. Here see. We will see one activity. So to show how the light travels in a straight line. So what are the materials required? A candle and 3 rectangular cardboards of same size. So we have to make a hole at the center of each cardboard and fix in a wooden base like this, see. and it should remain straight, and arrange the 3 cardboards one behind the other so that the holes are in horizontal line. And lit a candle and keep, so make sure the candle C behind cardboard C, and we should observe here. So see that they are all in the same level. Now look the whole of the cardboard here. You can see clearly the candle flame. From here you can see the candle flame. Now displace cardboard B. Cardboard B, you change the place. Again you see the candle flame. No, why? Because it is blocked here. When cardboard B is displayed, the 3 holes are no longer in straight line. We cannot see the light. So light always travels in a straight line. So then what are the applications in our day-to-day life? Because of this rectilinear propagation only shadows are formed. So here, so because the light is blocked there, so shadows are formed, and day and night is occurring because of this, because the light travels in straight line only. Eclipses are occurring due to this rectilinear propagation only, and a pinhole camera also works on this principle of rectilinear propagation of light only.